Deb and I are back in Cincinnati. As you can see, we're at the house. We've been down in the Keys for the last, 3 weeks?
3 weeks, 3.5 weeks.
Yeah, it's we're loving it. It's kind of all right. It's what we like: clear water, warm water, diving, snorkeling. It's pretty much, I think,
It's pretty awesome.
pretty awesome. Yeah.
I think it's where we want to be.
Still very excited about finishing the loop. I mean, no doubt about it. I mean, we definitely want to see the East Coast, and certainly when I get up into Canada and the Great Lakes, and other loopers tell us that that's really a great area. We just kind of time it out right. But right now we're at a place, Plantation Harbor Marina.
Plantation Harbor Yacht Marina.
Yacht Club, and there's a nice park right there that have a swimming pool and tennis courts and baseball diamonds and the whole bit. So nice spot in
Islamorada.
yeah, cheaper.
And the park is called Founders Park. And we've had lots of fun there too.
Yeah, we have, and it's reasonably priced. I mean, we're paying about $1,200 a month, I think.
14.
$1,400 a month for the slip versus we were double that at Marlin Bay. So some definite trade-offs, but this is a nice place. The facilities are great, the laundry facilities, and kind of a lot to do. We were glad to have Nick and Ramey and Leon come down and spend a weekend with us. Spent some time on the dinghy and doing some snorkeling and some diving, and we got some great pictures that we'll share in a few videos we'll share with you. So what do you got there?
Well, I've just wrote down the history of everything we've done in the last 2.5 weeks. I don't know if we want to go through all of it one by one, but we did. Today is actually May 23rd. So if we go back to May 9th, we actually did a couple dinghy dates and found a couple more restaurants while we were in Marathon. One was called Lazy Days Restaurant, and that's where you had that amazing hogfish special that the chef made.
It was amazing.
It was really good. And then we also did a dinghy date and found a place called Porky's Barbecue.
Yeah.
And that place, the food was just kind of eh. But the best part about that place is they had an amazing putt-putt course.
Yeah, it was amazing.
18 holes, and we've been on a lot of putt-putt courses, and this was by far the best ever.
Yeah.
Landscaping was just amazing. They had a little cocktail area, and at each hole they had a table that you could put your drink on while you hit your ball. And you did beat me by one stroke. One stroke. So that was fun. Then, of course, we picked up the kids in the Keys. That was next. The fun thing about that was that we actually decorated Leon's little cabin area. He's into Bluey, so we found some peel and stick Bluey stickers and decorated that. So that was a big surprise for him when he got there. And then the next day, I think you should go into some details about your and Nick's dinghy dive where you went back out to Sombrero Reef. You've been telling stories since then, and every time you laugh so hard you cry. So I think maybe you should share some of those fun stories.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, tanks and weights. Those of you who dive know it's an exhausting sport when it comes to the weight and everything that's required, the gear, and diving off a boat with a hard platform and nice ladders and all that to get in and out of the water is one thing, but when you start trying to handle all this gear on a dinghy, it's a totally different experience. And Nick and I think basically he said we got to work out the logistics of it, how to get in and out of the water with all that weight. So we had some challenges. We got Nick in the water first, and then I couldn't figure out how to get my gear on and get in the water. So I basically threw my gear in first, and then thinking I could just jump in and put it on in the water. Um, there was a bit of a current going, so by the time I got all my dinghy stuff or all my gear on, I was about 50 yards away from where Nick was in the dinghy, and I'm not in the best of shape. So by the time I swam all the way back to where Nick was, I was a bit out of breath. Nick said my lips were actually blue. I was that out of. I don't know if that's the case or not, but got back to him. He helped me get all my gear stowed away and hooked up the way it was supposed to be, and then we had a pretty good dive. So we were in about 30 feet of water. Um, and the other interesting thing about diving on your own versus in a group is you're in charge of the navigation, so you got to be able to read your compass and know where you're going. And we also try to carry a flotation buoy above us when we're moving around, so boats know where we're at because you're not always right next to the dinghy. And so I was using a GoPro and I was doing some filming, so I gave Nick the buoy line, which is basically, think of a kite. It's basically a line that instead of a kite, you're flying a kite, you're basically flying a float with a flag on it above you. So I'm busy filming, and Nick's behind me, and I turn around to see what he's doing, and he's pretty much wrapped up in all of this rope. So he's got this yellow float line just all over the place. So he's struggling with that. So I swim back, and I always dive with a knife. I always have to have a knife on me when I'm in the water. You just never know what's going to happen. So thank God I had the knife. And so I spent the next 5 minutes cutting him loose from all of the line that was wrapped around everything, and kind of forgot to hang on to the float. So by the time we figured out that we were untied, ready to go again on the dive, the float floated away. So we finished the dive without it.
It's probably in Cuba. Right?
It's probably on its way to Cuba for sure. So although, we rolled in there like professionals, the dive ended up pretty much being a cluster, what. But
and you lost the GoPro.
Obviously, well, it wasn't actually a GoPro. It was a knockoff of a GoPro. But yeah, we lost it too. So we got some work to do on figuring out all the logistics of getting in and out of the water on the dinghy.
But you still have fun.
We had a blast, and no one died.
And that's what Nick said when he got back. It was a success. No one died.
Yeah. But the water there is incredible. I just can't say that enough. The what we saw, octopus and turtles, and of course all the fish and barracuda and all that. And it's always fun. Nick and I enjoy diving together and being in the water. But practice makes perfect, and we'll keep after it.
Yes, so that was your grand adventure.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next day, we had to get ready to say goodbye to Marlin Bay. So we enjoyed our coffee out at the end of the dock. We were blowing bubbles with Leon, and we saw an iguana up on top of rocks that actually jumped in the water and swam. Who knew that iguanas could swim? And then we also saw all kinds of fish and parrotfish, and actually a big, probably 3-foot nurse shark while we were there watching all the fish. Our goal was to leave the marina by 10, and we actually got out of there about 9:45, so we did good getting out of there. I think our biggest decision on this adventure or travel day was whether we were going to go on the inside route through the Atlantic intercoastal, or to go down through 7 Mile Bridge and go up the Atlantic side, which is Hawk Channel, which is deeper. So, Captain Christie, you want to tell us why we made that decision?
I mean, just going the intercoastal, so on the I guess the Gulf side is to put it. It's just a lot of shallow water, a lot of just really paying attention to where you are the whole time, and probably slower. Um, so we decided that it was a nice smooth day. I mean, we had about 1 footers out there, which not bad at all. We had Nick and Ramey and Leon with us, so went ahead and decided to head west first, out through underneath the 7 Mile Bridge, and then get out into some deeper water and use the autopilot and put it up on plane. So we got it up. We were 17, 18 mile an hour on the way, and the computer did most of the driving. I mean, crab pots, not a problem this time of year. Crab season starts in October. So they get bad then. But I mean, it was, I think, a pretty pleasurable cruise. I mean,
We actually pulled into, it's called Snake Creek, that crosses the Atlantic to get you over to the Florida Bay side. We crossed there about 1:30, so we made really good time once we put it up on plane.
yeah.
And we pulled in the marina and into our slip with no issues. And the first thing we did was to put the dinghy in the water.
Mm-hmm.
And you had a little unexpected bath.
Oh, yeah. Our davit, the lift is right on the edge of the boat, and when the dinghy is on the back of the boat, I don't have a lot of room to walk around, so I got to go around the dinghy. And Nick and Deb were busy with tying lines up on the. So
We heard a big splash.
yeah,
And Chris was in the water.
yeah,
So we put the ladder down and got you out.
yeah, I fell in the water, but thank God I didn't have my phone or hearing aids or anything like that get wet. I mean, I've fallen in before, so I'm pretty careful about keeping stuff out of my pocket for just that reason. But yeah, we got the dinghy in the water, lots of room. The slip that we're in is big.
It's
I mean,
nice.
it's long. It's plenty of space. The other cool thing that we did too is we bought a paddleboard, and we shipped it to the marina, and it was there waiting for us. And we've had a blast on that thing.
We really have.
Yeah.
At first, it's a little wobbly just starting out, but the more and more you do it, the more confidence you build, and it has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's pretty good workout too.
We need to come up with a name for it, though. We've got CDN and the dinghies, CDN Junior, so we need to come up with a name for the new addition to the CDN fleet.
Yeah, we'll come up with something.
Yeah. The other cool thing that's at this marina, they have a beach area. So Leon and I went down and played in the sand, if you want to call it sand. It's kind of gravelly, shelly, while you guys did some snorkeling. And you did a good snorkel trip that day, too. You actually went to a place called Chickens and Hens Reef.
Chicken and Hens Reef, yeah.
Yeah.
All the reefs there are marked off zones where they're protecting the reefs. So they're all identified with these, they look like oil rigs. I mean, they're towers, so you know how to get out there. And then all the reefs are buoyed, so you can't drop anchor. They don't want to damage the reef by dropping anchor. So you roll in, you tie up to a buoy. And yeah, we had a really good snorkel. I know Nick and Ramey jumped in while I stayed back at the boat, and they had a nice snorkel. They saw a lot of cool stuff, including an octopus and what else did they say?
You got a good video of a sea turtle.
Yeah, I think they saw a turtle while they were in the water. But yeah, I think that they had a really good trip, and then I jumped in a little bit once they got back to the boat, just for a short time. And then you and Leon hung out at the beach, and then went back to the boat.
Yep. And then we went and visited the pool that afternoon. Mm-hmm. The pool is very nice. Mm-hmm. It's like an Olympic-sized pool. They have a lot of lap lanes and
diving boards. And
you enjoyed it because the water is a little cooler than where we were before, which is nice.
It's got slides, and so a pretty typical lap pool kind of thing. Was nice. And then from there, what did we do? We headed back to, we went to a place called...
The next day we got up and went to, it's called Theater of the Sea.
Theater of the Sea.
which is a nice marine type environment, educational shows. We watched a fun show with a sea lion that was trained, but they have dolphin shows and alligators and crocodiles and parrots, and it was a fun little adventure
I think
too.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Leon enjoyed the animals, the turtles, and whatnot.
And then we found a restaurant that's close to us that we actually dinghied to called Marker 88 Restaurant. And it's very nice. And they have a dinghy dock. And
Well, Nick and Ramey found
Nick,
it, and we went by car the first time.
yeah.
Then after Nick and Ramey left, we jumped on the dinghy and went back over there the next day for dinner. That was a
They have amazing tuna nachos. I mean, the nachos, the plate's like this big, but delicious.
yeah, that was good. We'll definitely
Yeah.
head back there before we head out.
And we did a snorkel one day too on the dinghy. Right outside the marina, there are some rocks, and we just went out and anchored the dinghy and had a great snorkel. Saw some more barracuda, 3 that were maybe this big. They were a little smaller this time, but lots of fish sleeping up in the rocks and schools of little bluefish. So that was really fun. I do like this marina, the fact that we can snorkel and paddleboard and do all these things right there, which is really nice. And then we got on the plane and came back to Cincinnati, and we went from 84 degrees to 56 degrees
And rain.
and clouds and rain. Are you ready to go back?
Not yet.
So we'll be here probably 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, and then we'll head back down. We've got golf tournaments and doctor's appointments and Memorial Day holiday cookout, and just have some fun here with our family and friends, and then head back to the nice water.
Stay where we're at now for maybe a week or two, and then the plan is to head over to Key Largo. There's some nice marinas and some more great dive sites and snorkel sites over there, and then head on around the tip of Miami and probably get over to Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale.
That's the next airport that Allegiant flies in and out of. So that'll probably be the place we end up before we head back to Cincinnati again for whatever reason. So life is good. The boat's good. No major issues. Knock on wood. I didn't drill any holes or cause any problems of major concern. So all is good on CDN.
All is great.
Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.